Good morning, ma'am. Today, I, Simran Daswani, a member of Student Council from Nmims, will be a host for the event. Samah ma'am has done BBA in marketing from Nmims Mumbai, and that's really great to hear. Ma'am, now let's have a small rapid fire as an icebreaker. I'll give you a word, and instantly, you gotta tell me what it reminds you from your college life.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first word is canteen.
Canteen.
Yeah.
Where we spend most of our time in lectures.
Okay. The second one is Juhu Beach.
Juhu Beach, Pav Bhaji.
Okay. Third one is our Mumbai Lifeline, that is local train.
Never used.
Okay.
Never had to use. I was in NM. I lived there also.
Okay. And fourth one is Friends.
Friends, life, college, NMIMS.
Okay, that's really nice. So you gave us a beautiful insight, into a student life. So I just can't wait to know more about it. So I'm gonna start with my question now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So my first question is, how your experience at NMIMS prepared you for the real world?
So college in general really prepares you for that transition from being a kid, having no tension, having no sort of direction, to someone who starts to have direction, starts to not get tense, but start to think about life seriously. And NMIMS particularly was very they had a very robust curriculum. It was quite hectic because we had the trimester system, and BBA, we were like the second or third batch to be doing BBA. God, I feel old saying this, but yeah, so it really prepared, or rather, for me personally, it showed me how much I need to prepare really to be someone, with a fierce career path. And I remember our business plan. We had something, I'm sure you also have it. In our last trimester, we had to come up with a business plan. And I'll be very honest, I was so shit at it. I was so bad at it that it made me realize that if I have to start a business someday, that it's going to be difficult for me. And it taught me the value of team. How if you are not good at something, you can not just bank on your peers, but you can find how you can be of value, and learn from your friends who might have a better skill and teach them something that you have. So things like that. Yeah, friendship, team building. College teaches you so much, and NMIMS specifically had a very, very challenging curriculum, but we had some great teachers, and we were really lucky. I mean, every batch feels that they are the best batch.
Yes.
But yeah, it was I mean, yeah, great life-changing experience.
Okay, so that's great. Second question is, who is your role model?
Role model. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not someone who has like one role model, to be very honest. There are people I admire. I see, to learn how to invest in stocks on my own. So I'm really impressed by Mr. Damani. He's the owner of Dima. He's the one who started the chain. So I'm really impressed by his journey. I won't say he's my role model, but currently I'm really impressed by him in general. There's also this brand called Chumbak, and the way they started that brand, it's of interest to me. I'm interested in lifestyle and home decor. So I'm forgetting the name of the owners, but it's a husband-wife duo, Shubhra, and her husband Vivek. They started so I'm really impressed by them. But if you ask me honestly, if anybody comes close to being a role model, I'm from the creative field. I'm interested in filmmaking and films. Zoya Akhtar is my, you can say if I am crazy about someone, if someone has to be my role model, it would be her. I'm obsessed with her. I'm ready to make tea for her for the rest of my life. Um, I think what I was telling you about not just admiring their work, but also like ethic and what they stand for and how they are as a person in the world. I really admire that about her. Again, I don't know her personally. This is just perception and having followed her work through the years and going over her interviews multiple times. So yeah, if there is a role model that I have, it's Zoya Akhtar.
Okay, that was really interesting to know. Uh, the other question is, name your favorite book and tell us why it's your favorite one.
So I'll be honest, it's really embarrassing how little I have read in the last 2 years. In fact, since we were hit by the pandemic, we've had so much time on our hands, and you'd think that someone would read so much more now that you have to work from home, traveling to work and all of that. But somehow, personally, for me, my focus and concentration in terms of reading has gone for a toss. If there's a book and an author I admire greatly, it would be Arundhati Roy's book, and Arundhati Roy, the author, her book, The God of Small Things. Why that's my favorite book? I'll tell you honestly, because I hated it the first time I read it.
Okay.
And I started reading it, when I started reading, it was quite late in life. I started reading when I was in college, and in school, I barely read. I watched a lot of movies, but I didn't read. So that habit was not inculcated. And when I started to read, I obviously wanted to read really important and really serious books. And that was a wrong thing to do, because when I started reading The God of Small Things, I didn't understand it. I was like, what is this crap? It's not making any sense. And then I was put off by my whole journey into reading. And then I read a little bit more, and then I revisited the book. I don't even know why, because it's so difficult to revisit things you don't like. But for some reason, I reread that book, and the way I understood it, it made me realize that there is something known as growth, and there's something known as a development of your taste buds, whether they are like intellectual taste buds or like literal taste buds. Like you like something first, you're not that evolved, you haven't had that much experience, you're not open-minded. And when I read that book, it greatly impacted me, affected me in terms of how the writer has used their specificity to bring out a story. And I'm not even aware of that landscape. That book is set in Kerala. So yeah, it really hit home, and I think that was a life-changing book for me. So that would be my favorite book. Yeah.
Okay. Now I like to ask you about your journey of being an author, right? Author, the way, like the current position you are in. So what's your journey from the start?
Okay, so currently I'm not actually. I am. Once you become an author, you always remain an author. But I'm not writing novels at present, simply because I have a full-time job in development. It's a similar field that I am in. But my journey into writing is basically, I was a business management student, as you are aware, from Nmims, and my first job actually was in media and entertainment, where it was. A corporate job, but it was in entertainment. So I was deeply involved in the marketing of films. So it was basically the film would be over, and then my role would be what my role would begin. So I got really interested in the art, in the whole idea, the creative process, and because I had not seen it, there was a lot of curiosity. So I started writing. I was a closeted writer for a very long time, because it's really embarrassing to openly write and tell people these are your thoughts and this is how you look at the world and this is the story you're trying to weave. I think I'm assuming most writers would have these thoughts. So I did too. And while working, I started to kind of write more regularly. I finished writing an entire story, and I started parallelly pursuing it. Then I quit my job. I've also tried acting. I've done a couple of like TVCs, ads, and stuff like that. But I was focused into trying to see how to get my book published. And parallelly, I was doing a lot of side gigs like modeling and event management, backstage event management. So I really didn't know how to get your book published, and I would just Google things. It was very basic, and I would send cold emails, like multiple cold emails, and rejection emails were a regular thing of my, a regular part of my day. And sometimes being rejected was actually a boon, because a lot of people would not even get back to you. So I would just be like, rejected, so I have closure and I can move on. And then I started participating in writing competitions. So it took about 2 years for me to realize that I really enjoy doing this. But the thing is, if you want to do it forever, it has to pay you, right? And if it doesn't pay you, then you can't keep doing like side gigs all the time, because it's not a full-time job, and you're not like, you're neither here nor there. You have your feet in two different boats. So yeah, I think it took its own journey. I kept trying to earn money by doing things, small things. And there was a point where I decided that now, if in this month something doesn't work, I have to give it up, because it got a little embarrassing for myself that, I'm so confused, and what am I doing? And do I really want this? Because if it doesn't reward you, it's difficult to want it, it's difficult to pursue it. And I remember I was taking a bus somewhere after a yoga class, and there was the result of a competition I had participated in that was supposed to come out. And I said that, if I come in the top 10, then at least there's hope. It was kind of like a ultimatum I gave to teacher that if top 10 mein aa gaya, to theek hai. And
Okay.
it was for myself. I had put that condition on myself mentally without telling anybody that, if it doesn't work out, then I've got to now become serious about my career. And I happened to be in the top 10, then I happened to be in the top 3, and then I happened to be the winner of that competition. So that kind of resurrected my will to pursue this. It kind of planted the conviction in firmer ground that, okay, I should pursue this. There is, because you need a sign, you need motivation, you need some level of talent, of course, but conviction that you can do something, that your talent is valuable, it exists, it's valid. So yeah, and then from there, I just started writing. I started approaching people. Then वो ना वो एक चीज होती है, उसके बाद
Yeah.
things just fall
Yeah.
into place. Then Penguin, a deal happened with Penguin. Again, this was over a cold email. I self-published one book. Then Penguin happened. Then my anthology got published. The competition I won, it was a short story competition. So there were other winners. We got published. Then my second novel came. Third novel came. Then I decided to basically study writing, because I was not happy with the way I was writing, because it was obviously something I hadn't studied. And unfortunately, with the arts, there is this perception that you don't need formal education to pursue it, because it is based on talent for sure. But I think formal education in a field that you want to pursue or are interested in is very important, because it gives you a whole different perspective. It gives you
Yes.
context in the professional world. Because writing for hobby versus writing as a career are two different things. And yeah, so I went and did my master's in creative writing after that. And
Okay.
that made me realize why I think I'm not the kind of writer I want to be, or why my stories I mean, I don't hate them, but why they're not creatively satisfying me, and it's not in the direction where I want to go. So yeah, I did my master's in creative writing, and that I did it abroad, and that gave me a very global perspective. And
Oh.
since then, I've been writing for the screen. My current job is also, I'm basically a development executive at a production house, and my job is to scout writing talent and basically work on screenplays, read screenplays, and much more than that. But a significant part of my job is to deal with writing and writers.
Oh.
So yeah, I've taken this up professionally. I think it helps my writing, and I think where I want to be in terms of the industry, it's really important for me, this role that I am playing. And yeah, I guess in some sense I am still a writer, because I am uh, writing on my own as well. But I think I'm just taking some time to get a sort of 360-degree understanding of the business, while keeping in mind that I need to hone and channel my writing in a certain direction. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was really interesting to know, because that was a different journey.
I think
So
so. Yeah.
yeah. So my next question is, which podcast random question, like how do you select the name of protagonists in your book?
In my book, in writing in general, because I write for the screen a lot now. How do you select a name? Okay, so one is, you don't overthink it, because there is a tendency, for me, I've noticed other people, and sometimes hear names which jar, which make you feel like this is an awkward name. For me, I tend to, if it's a character and a name that doesn't require to stick out, then I choose generic names, names that are easy for people to hear, pronounce. It really depends on your story, and you get influenced a lot by what's happening around you. Say you meet someone, that person has an interesting name, or your childhood friend. So you use a lot of life is your ammunition for story, right? You have to pick things from life. You construct a story from life. So when you as an individual are writing, you will see what's around you. You will pick a name, something will make its impression and lodge itself in your head, and that will come out in your writing. I've picked names sometimes depending on the story, sometimes depending on one particular person in real life who has this trait which I want in my character. So I will use their name only. It'll just naturally be a combination that will come out on the page. And yeah, you have to choose logically ethnicity, background, if your character is from a certain place, from a certain religious background. It has to logically make sense. But the important thing is not to dwell over it. You have to see, like, there is a story that I've worked on which needs the characters to be like the names to be, there has to be alliteration, which basically means same alphabet.
Yes.
It starts from the same alphabet for a rhyme scheme or whatever, grammatical usage. So then you choose according to that. But the word of advice that I would like to give someone, if at all, would be that don't dwell on it. Just move forward and make sure it doesn't jar. It should not be cumbersome. It should not be something that sticks out and makes you question, because that takes you out of the experience of the story.
Okay. So the next question is like working with the Penguin Random House, the Drishyam Films, OML, and now with Junkie Pictures, and also being a book writer. So what was, your overall experience? And secondly, like which books would you recommend us?
Okay. So working, I mean, every person's work experience teaches them so much. What I have learned from mine is that there are so many talented people in the world, and there is such a long path. And what I've understood is that um, your learning and your growth is that talent is hard work, and there is a long journey, and everything is very difficult. And when you are a master, your mastery is that it's so simple. So mastery is basically difficult things simplified. When it takes a long time for somebody to do something, they are in the process of learning it, and when you have mastered it, you basically know how to do it very simply. It's easy to you. So I think my work experience in the various places I have worked at has taught me the transition from how to learn how to make what you are doing simple. And I've interacted with so many talented people. It's made me realize that there is no dearth of talent. What often people lack is conviction, dedication, time, a little bit of luck. I always feel right place, right time is a thing. And yeah, there has been a personal journey of understanding the art and craft, and the acceptance of what I don't understand. That okay, there is so much I don't know about this field, about any given field, of course, but specifically in this field that I'm trying to make my name in. Yeah, I think every company I go to has taught me so much in terms of the kind of people. Some companies have been small and there was a lot of responsibility. Some companies have been much bigger, and you learn how to work with lots of people. So somewhere you're solely responsible for things, and you're made to do something that you don't know how to do, and you accept. That's happened at one of my companies. I was given a task that I was not up for, but I said, yeah, I'll do it, and then I learned how to do it. And there were a lot of hiccups in that experience, but that teaches you, it prepares you for the world.
Yeah.
And where I'm currently working, I am learning so much from my peers. There's so much I don't know, and it has taught me how to work in a team, and that everybody serves a purpose. It could be in any industry. This is a generic thing, but in filmmaking specifically, it's such a hard craft. It's like an operation, only that, okay, this is for entertainment, it's not about life and death, but there is so much technical prowess that people possess, and people are so bloody talented, and it's hard. And to think that people have been doing this for like years, and I'm just like, wow, we didn't even have the internet, we didn't have knowledge, we didn't have the kind of crisis we are going through, and you still knew how to make this. Some things to take away from there. uh what other? There's one book by David Mamet which is highly recommended, but I haven't been able to read it. But yeah, these are very specific books for people interested in writing and screenwriting. Other than that, I'm currently reading this book called A Man Called Ove, which is really sweet, very cute. Yeah, these are just some random recommendations.
Okay.
Okay, so next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the top 3 skills, according to you, that an author or writer should possess?
Top 3 skills. Okay. One would be complete control and knowledge and complete understanding and like a clear mental picture of your characters. I do believe all plot is character. There is in the writing world, there is always this debate about plot versus character. And some people say plot is better, some people say character is better. But I believe in Aristotle's theory that all plot is character. It stems from character. So I think a complete mental picture, and that's something I have struggled with. I do struggle with even now. Character is so important that if an author has complete conviction of who their characters are, who these people are, what is their backstory, what do they want, what are their flaws, your story will flow very easily. That's one. Two is two would be a complete understanding of basically the craft of screenwriting. You need to know the 3 act structure, 5 act structure. I always think I mean, talent is great. You can be raw, you can not have done formally educated and still churn out something that's great. But I think that's rare, that's an exception. And to consistently keep doing that, I think that's where learning and formal education and a complete, even if it's not formal education, just education in general, um, you can keep reading even if you're not doing it under a degree or a course. But I think a skill that a writer must possess is the understanding of like structure and plot, where what who should enter. Again, I'm talking more from screenwriting's point of view than the point of view of someone who writes novels. But to basically plot, subplot, your beginning, middle, end, your interval point, things like that, that's the skill. To be able to do that, especially in really, like you see films where there are multiple storylines, multiple structures, so many subplots. So a talent or a grip that can kind of sew that into a screenplay or even a novel, that's a really big blessing for any writer. um, I won't say like language and like basic understand a story, that's a given. Third thing would just be I think an author needs to be uh, consistently able to rewrite. I think writing is rewriting, and to be able to rewrite is a lot of authors or first-time writers um, write, and then once they are done, they feel that they are done. But just a first draft or your first crack at your manuscript is not enough. I think to be able to rewrite and consistently, without getting bored, keep revisiting the same story, sharpening it will show. It shows. I read so many screenplays. I do that for a living. I must have read over 300 screenplays in the last 2.5 years. um, I think that when you're not a skilled writer, or when you're too quick to kind of take your work out there, it shows on the page. And to be able to rewrite is one of the biggest advantages a writer can have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question comes up like, what strategies, have you adopted to maintain a work-life balance?
Um, Okay, so work-life balance in the pandemic has been challenging for a lot of people, and something that I've been doing, something that I did before we were hit by the pandemic is regular travel. I'm really interested in traveling and just going to new places, eating new cuisines, getting to know new cultures. I wish I had the talent and skill and patience to be a travel blogger or something like that. Um, but I would regularly just get away, get out of the city, uh, even it was even if it was for like short breaks. That does actually lead to burnout sometimes. But then you have to learn how to channel, because sometimes you're leaving on a Friday, coming back Monday morning. So to keep that balance, you have to ensure that your itinerary is really relaxed, laid back. We tend to spend too much time on our phones. Admittedly, I do too, on Instagram and stuff like that. So um, I regularly try to kind of learn new things. Like I've recently become interested in chess, and I used to play it as a child. So I just try to take some time off after the work day and put my phone away and just play chess. And I'm trying to read, but like I told you, I've been really shit at it the last 2 years. I think something that I've been doing consistently during the pandemic is that on a Friday evening, I'm just I just kind of fall off the wagon mentally. Like I don't think about work also, even though there will be like an email that will pop up, and I'm just like I let it go. I mark it as unread, so I remember to read it on Monday. But I just switch off. I switch off Saturday, Sunday unless required as an exception. Uh, Sometimes I'll be honest, even on Monday, Tuesday for 1 hour, you just take that break. But I think that's still, I wouldn't say excusable, because obviously when you're working, you should work. But the flip side of that, working when you're on your time out or when you're on your time off is not great, because when I come back to work on Monday, and sometimes you're like, oh yeah, where did I leave off? But it makes you realize, wow, I've just had 2 days of not thinking about work stress, just enjoying. Like if I've bought something, just enjoying the process of wearing that. And if I've made a booking at a restaurant, then just enjoying that meal without having to think about, okay, I have this stressful meeting on Monday, even though those thoughts will crop up. So yeah, trying to keep my timer on apps, trying to inculcate a hobby that is not computer based, or like watching TV, not that's not counted. So playing chess very recently, that's one of the things I'm doing. And regularly, I think I'm someone who gets more excited about planning holidays than actually being on a holiday. So like Saturdays, I'm just planning, okay, I want to do this. And it's not so much that, okay, what if I don't do this, I'm going to be sad. But the joy of actually planning, whether that happens or not, it's a different thing. But just that, okay, this is what I can do, this is where I can take my mom, this is what I can do for my birthday. That's something that really, this is what I can wear. I'm a planner, a complete planner. And um, there are cons to being a complete planner. It's that you're in your head all the time. But yeah, work-life balance has been really good for me in the last 6 to 7 months specifically, because I'm very consciously enjoying that balance. It's not like, oh, where did the weekend go? I didn't even come to know. No, I'm very present in my activities that I do for joy, just for entertainment, relaxation. Yeah.
Okay, that was actually interesting to hear. So the next question is like, what challenges did you encounter while maintaining your profession with your passion?
So that's the thing. With me, my profession was going to be, being. I was interested in even pursuing accountancy, though I don't think I was that good. I mean, I was good in college, but I don't think I would have been good as an accountant, because I fell out of love with it. And as a management graduate, my hope was to do an MBA. That's the natural BBA ke baad, that's the natural progression. So my profession would have been being a manager, managing a company. I was interested. I'd done my specialization in marketing, so it could have been PR and marketing. But then I got interested in film, which became my passion. So now I think I'm at the perfect cusp, or like the crossroad of my passion and my profession, where I am in the entertainment business, but I am a professional here. So um, while I have tried my hand at being on the other side, like being the talent as a writer and as an actor, and I do hope someday that I'm able to switch back. But now I am in the corporate side of it. I am a professional, so I do represent the company and not myself in my current position. So yeah, that switch can happen anytime if one wants that switch to happen. Right now, that balance comes naturally because I have made my passion my profession. Otherwise, for people, I was actually doing this when I was trying to get my novel published. I was taking up small side jobs. I was doing backstage management, but my heart was not in that because the goal was that that should just keep the money coming in, and eventually I want to publish my book. Once I published my book, there was like a perfect marriage of passion and profession, and hopefully. I mean, right now, both my passion and profession are happily married, and hopefully, they will continue to remain happily married because it keeps me in a very lucky, happy mental state of mind.
Okay. So the next question is like,
But sorry to cut you in, but I know a lot of people who professionally are pursuing. I have a lot of friends who are professionally pursuing goals that came naturally to them, and then they have discovered their passions along the way. And to it's all about making time. Yeah, I feel to defiantly and consistently pursue the things that make you feel alive. If they don't align with your professional goals, it's totally okay. I don't think you need to. I mean, there are no rules, and whatever works for you, you've chosen certain things, and nobody should judge you for why. Someone may say, oh, your heart is not in this, and why you do this. It's not always that simple. The money is for what you may want to pursue. The rewards for that may not be great, and you live in the real world, so commerce is important. You need to make money to be able to so when to make that switch, those are things very, I mean, an individual, you shouldn't be burning out, but an individual has the right to make that decision whether they want to merge the two things or not, as long as they are happy that okay, I don't get to do my passion 9 to 5, I get to do my profession. You may be passionate about more than one thing, you know, maybe building your business is also your passion, or being employed somewhere is also your passion, and maybe photography is also your passion, but you don't want money from it. You just, like, I enjoy taking photos and stuff like that, but I don't want to pursue that in a professional capacity, in the sense I don't want to make money out of that. I don't have the, I don't want the responsibility to be responsible. Yeah, I don't want to be responsible for consistently doing that. I want to do it when I want to do it. So that can't be a profession when, if it's based on your whims and fancies, that now I feel like blogging my journey and now I don't feel like blogging it. So yeah, I think as long as you are happy with how much time you can dedicate to each, it shouldn't be a problem.
basically it depends upon person to person, like whatever he
Yeah,
or she perceives about
you should
this.
be happy with your choice. As
Yeah.
long as you, then it shouldn't matter if someone else thinks that you could dedicate more time to your passion, or maybe you're dedicating too much time to your passion. It should be, as long as you understand the balance, as long as your takeaway at home at night in terms of your professional takeaway in terms of what your job gives you, and your passion takeaway in terms of the kind of mental peace, how much dedication, how much recognition, whether you want it or not, it's all on you. I
Yes.
don't think, I think we define ourselves and our goals too much sometimes, and I think you have to, basically, when you're pursuing something, when you're doing it in that moment, you have to enjoy it. That's all that really matters. It sounds philosophical, but it is true.
Yeah, correct. So, ma'am, the next question is like, what steps would you, what are your, ma'am, future endeavors?
Oh, writing, yeah. Right now, so my job takes up all my time. There are some projects I've written in the past which are with people right now, with producers and stuff. So, yeah, in the future, if they get made, that would be great. Other than that, I do a lot of screenwriting classes. I mean, I take part in. I don't teach. I'm not that good. But in the future, I hope to write more screenplays. I hope to learn how to direct. I want to act. I want to give so many things a shot. And the thing is, actually, yeah, there is one thing that I'm thinking of my of myself, which could be which might be it's not a flaw, it's not a weakness, but I'm interested in a lot of things. So that somehow, sometimes it's not a bad thing to be interested in many things, but the translation of that in life is that you can't dedicate yourself completely time wise to one thing because you're interested in so many things. And somewhere I think that's a weakness, in the sense you'll not be known as someone who is known for just that one thing, jack of all, master of none. I don't think that's a bad thing. That's who I am, that's what defines me, and that could be my unique quality, that I'm interested in many things. But I'm interested in like decor, I'm interested in travel, I'm interested in fashion. In what capacity, it's different. So my future endeavors, I'm hoping to do something in these fields, not professionally, because professionally I'm married to entertainment, I love it. But just exploring or design, exploring. So yeah, I don't have any, like, I don't have a blueprint, but hopefully something should come out of these interests. And otherwise, yeah, writing is my main goal. Is going to be always the one thing I'm dedicated to forever, whether it is as a development executive or whether it's as a full-time screenwriter. In the future, that's what is in store, not a book. There is no book in store right now. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, one last question is like, what advice would you like to give to future aspirants as they venture out into the world?
Wow, this is like such an important question. It's so open and like wide. Okay, what advice would I want to give? So I would say start young, because the that age from your 20s to your that mid 20s is so important. And it's okay if you don't know what you're doing, but keep fiercely trying to find what it is that moves you, that makes you want to get up and do it every day. And I would strongly advise, when you think about what you want to pursue, don't think about only like when you say, oh, I'm going to become a an actor, or when you say I'm going to become a pilot. So the thing is, when you close your eyes and you think about that, you think about only and only the highs, only the professional gains and highs of that particular field. What I would advise you is that when you're thinking about what you're going to pursue, ask yourself that if you are at the lowest rung of the ladder in this field, would you be okay? I won't say happy, because why will you be happy logically? But would you be okay to still, would you be um, like when you, if you want to become an actor, would you be okay to face rejection every day and still keep trying? Or if you want to become a pilot, would you be okay taking that risk or having that erratic lifestyle where you're away from family all the time? Or I don't know, whatever the flip side to being a pilot is, or being um, I mean, having a job where there could be a dearth of employment, because that is what the airline industry is facing and has faced during the pandemic. So what I'm trying to say is that when you think about life and a career, you must think about not just the good things and like having killed it in that field and the highs. You have to ask yourself, are you prepared to tackle and face and uh, just be okay with the professional lows? And if the answer is yes to that, then that is the right thing for you to pursue. It means there is a genuine interest. It means that there is an affection towards that, or a passion towards that particular field area. And so then it is the right thing for you to pursue. And that's what I feel about writing. I feel like, and I have largely faced in my writing career, I'm not so famous or a popular author, so mainly I have faced the downside of writing only, and it still makes me happy. It still gives me satisfaction to be able to write. And even if like very few people read my writing, I give my screenplays to a lot of co-writers, to people in my family, and that still gives me creative satisfaction, and I found a way to earn money from that. So um, I feel like that's what made me realize that I love writing, that I was not always seeing the highs of writing or being famous. I have seen that. I have had people coming and telling me, I'm your fan, and I'm just like, but please don't be my fan, because I mean, it's great that you're my fan, but I don't know how to handle that, because I don't think of myself as someone who can have a fan. And there are so many like people who write to me on Instagram and stuff like that, and I'm just like, but please wait for me to write something good and then be my fan. Uh, so yeah, I think that that would be my one thing of advice to say, that you must think about what the challenges of your field are going to be before you, and think deeply. And I think also try a lot of things. We have so many options now. The internet has just opened new fields, new like professions, positions. So I would say, like, use your 20s to try. Don't be lazy in your 20s. Even if you're taking some time off, by being don't be lazy, I don't mean that you shouldn't take time off or you shouldn't take a year off. Take a year off if you want to, but in that year, don't be lazy. Keep exploring, keep trying. If you're taking a year off to go and travel, fair, great, good. If your finances are sorted, you have people to back you, and you're okay to do that, do it. But in that year of travel, keep exploring, keep trying. Don't be lazy. And yeah, I think become friends with failure, or become okay with the fact that you tried something. And it sounds philosophical, but it really is important, because what you think of yourself is so important. That at the end of the day, you may have people praise you, and this has happened with me. A lot of people like my books when I first wrote them, and they found it funny, but I only was like, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by what I have written. So what you think of yourself is so much more important, because there are people who like what they have written, and probably they have the worst reviews and people don't like, but it's so important what you think of yourself. So yeah, I think this would be my advice to people who are pursuing a career and life in general.
Okay. So yeah, ma'am, this comes to the end of our interview, and it was really nice to having you on board, and it really inspired me also, to be very honest, to work harder for my future endeavors. And thank you, ma'am, and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, and I would really I want to appreciate how patiently you have heard me out, because I'm someone who loves to talk, and I feel like listening is such an art and talent, and patiently listen and hold whatever is coming in your mind to allow the other person to speak. That's something that's great. I think you've done a great job at being very patient to hear me out, and full props to you for doing this. Today is a Sunday, and you're a college student, and I know what a Saturday, Sunday means. You want to chill, but you've been very accommodating with trying to do this on my time. And I thank you so much for that. And
Pleasure
I
is
think,
always mine.
thank you. And I think it's so great that you're so dedicated and you're taking the time out when, you could easily be just chilling, and you're doing this for your college. So great job. I wish you all the luck. And yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. It makes you realize that you don't have to be an overachiever or someone really famous to be interesting, want to be heard, and that's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you to Christine ma'am for thinking of me for this.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good Sunday. Go enjoy, chill, relax, watch TV, do nothing.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye.
Bye. Bye.